Hedda.
Yes?
This is what you wanted, isn't it?
Congratulations on this film. We were just having a great conversation before we officially started. Tessa, to start with you, Nia, you wrote in the notes that this is the most unknowable and complex woman in theater. Yet Tessa, I feel like you understood Hedda so well. How did you come to the realization of knowing who this character is?
Just typecasting. You know? I'm like, finally, a documentary about my life. I'm kidding.
Idea.
No,
That'd be so funny. I was like, oh, this is Tessa. Hey, you have to play yourself.
Listen, I think one of the reasons that Hedda Gabler has compelled and captivated audiences for centuries is that I do think that all of us have some murky, unsavory things buried inside of us. As humans. And I think the time in which we live, the ways in which we're socialized, the things that we're told that we can and cannot do, the things that we can and cannot hope for or choose, I think give us parameters. And while I don't agree with everything that she does, I think fundamentally where it comes from, which is to try to live a life that is your own and try to find a real sense of purpose, I think that fundamentally is a really human thing. So I kind of started there. I think that we all have a tiny bit of Hedda inside of us if we're really honest, you know? Not like burning people's life work.
No, I'm sure. Like, I'm watching you. You're
I mean, we all have those days, I guess.
Or pointing people towards suicide. None of those things. I just mean that I think we have little shadows, shadow selves inside of us.
For sure. Yeah, I think you did great justice to the character, but I also think you made it your own with your interpretation. Nia, that's no different from your interpretation of this story. I know you made some narrative changes, but I want to talk about the unique elements you did visually, because I feel like this story is always known for being on the stage, and your shot selection specifically was a masterclass. I love the way you incorporated mirrors into the camera at times. Can you talk to me about the visual language of this film?
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for asking that. Genuinely, I love talking about this stuff. Yeah, I mean, my DP and I, Sean Bobbitt, this is our second film together. We just did a third. And part of the reason why I love working with him is because we have a similar sort of desire with each film to do something different and also to really filter every choice through character and through emotion and through the arc of the story. So we have a joke on set where we don't use the word coverage. You know, it's like specific, carefully selected shots, you know? And for me, everything I wanted to include character. I wanted to give information to the audience. So the framing, the lens choices, the way we lit every single scene, every moment was very specific to where we were in the story. So for example, I'll talk about lenses because I know we don't have a ton of time, but we use two sets of lenses. One were the Hawk C series, which are vintage lenses, but they're pretty good. They're pretty stable, but they have a bit of character to them. And then we had a second set called the Crystal Expressives, which are really funky, these rebuilt anamorphic lenses. And we knew that we wanted the look to decay over the course of the party, and we knew that we wanted to really reflect Hedda's complexity through the image. And so as the party goes on, we incorporate more of the Crystal Express lenses. And then we had one of those, I think it was the 50 close focus that we just used on Tessa as Hedda. And so every choice we made visually was super specific to where we were in the story, where the characters going, where they just came from. And that was really, really fun to do.
Wow, this stuff fires me up. I love talking with like intelligent filmmakers. This is so cool. Nina, I was reading that you have done Hedda on the stage in Berlin many years ago. This story has been so iconic throughout theater in history. It's also been adapted to a feature film. Having now the experience to do it on the screen, what are some luxuries that you think are only available in the screen adaptation versus on the stage?
That there's an Eileen Løvborg as opposed to an Island Løvborg. That is the main thing for me, obviously, because I'm now allowed to play Eileen Løvborg, you know. So and with that, exploring the material in a completely new way, and I think the audiences will as well, because having this woman put in there in the midst of it all challenges everyone around her in a different way, and in particular, of course, Hedda. So I was that was the main thing where I thought that is the biggest change for me.
It changes all the relationships in the story, specifically with George, because in the book, or in the screenplay, I should say, for the stage, there seems to be a bit more of a tangible rivalry between the Eileen that exists in the stage production. For your relationship, though, specifically with Hedda, there seems to be some frustration, there seems to be some admiration. I also detected some fear. Do you think that George fears Hedda?
100%. Yeah, he does. And I mean, fear is born out of not understanding, right? And he doesn't understand this woman that he's married to. He thinks he does, but she just won't conform to this role that he wants her to play. And so that comes with frustration, a bit of anger and resentment. But yeah, 100% fear. And I think he's not idiotic. He does understand that this woman is doing something that he doesn't really, he doesn't understand. And that puts him in a very strange position. And to the point of Eilert becoming Eileen, it challenges him on a new level, because in the play, he's challenged by this man who he could never come up with the genius of Eilert Lovborg's material. But to deepen that and have it be a woman that's done this thing, that him as a man, who he sees women as beneath him, it challenges him on a whole new level. Like everything he thinks about the entire world is being challenged throughout this piece. I have one spoiler question to wrap up with. We'll save this until after release. The ending is quite different. There are so many differences with Nia's adaptation, but the ending specifically. Hedda has a pretty conclusive end on the stage. She takes her own life, but this one, it's a little ambiguous. It seemed like she was going down that path, but then has that smile, and then we roll credits. What's your interpretation of the ending?
Oh, I don't want to interpret the ending, but I just find it interesting that Eileen always pulls her out of the water. You know, at the beginning, and when she's on the phone, and at the end.
Oh, that's
because it's not done yet. And I love that. I find that suits the time. You know, I think they should have the right to have another go. Yeah.
I think it's very interesting too, having, it almost feels like a Greek tragedy or something. You know how Shakespeare precedes the play Romeo and Juliet with, you know, he tells you the plot at the beginning of Romeo and Juliet, and then you sit down and watch it. There's this sort of Greek tragedy, cyclical, this thing will just continue on and on and on, you know, these stories that get told. That's how I sort of felt about it, that it begins with Hedda in the water with the stone in her pockets, and it ends the same, and you get a feeling that even though she doesn't, spoiler, she doesn't take her own life, you feel like, God, in a way she's trapped in this prison. They all are. They're just gonna go around this carousel of whatever. Exactly. Yeah. They're gonna be there forever.
Yeah, the best kind of poetry rhymes, after all.
Completely.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for your time.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sometimes I can't help myself. Jesus, these people.